Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del challenges the status quo, questions everything, and empowers you to return to your core beliefs to make your life better. If you're ready to hear the truth and get your roadmap to the lifestyle you really want, the next hour will change your life. And now, your host, self-made millionaire, national award-winning investor of the year, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Today is Tell Del Tuesday, because we have another great story for you here. The couple that's going to share their story with you today are kind of unique in that they fell in love with each other and then real estate. And which one came first, which one came second is what you're here with us today to find out in an interesting little story about a couple who found love and a connection to something called real estate investing. With us today is Candice and Corey M out of Dallas area. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Dale.
Hi.
Inquiring minds want to know. They want to know, how did you guys meet? What attracted you to each other since you both decided you wanted to do real estate together? Go through the story. And I guess let's start with Candice, because weren't you you say you're a third generation real estate investor?
Yes, I am. So I grew up seeing my dad, answer calls from what he called tenants. We call residents now. But he would handle those calls himself. He would go out with his hammer and fix up the properties, which is great. I mean, that's how, his dad did it. That's how my dad operated his properties. And it's just incredible that they were able to accomplish what they did. Now, with us, I knew watching that I wanted to, operate a bit differently. I met Corey. He had some interest in real estate because he had read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in college, and he knew that that's what he wanted to do. Now, when we got together, when we met, we dated for 5 years and got engaged. And during our engagement, Corey was adamant about purchasing a single-family home before we got married. I wasn't as on board with that because I'm planning a wedding, spending money on the wedding, focusing on a wedding, but he just wouldn't let it go. So we actually joined Lifestyles when we were engaged, bought the first single-family home, and renovated it, did the rehab, got a resident in there right before we left for our wedding in Cabo.
So, Corey, why the motivation? Why were you so hot to get something done before you got married?
I knew that if we got it done before we got married, it wouldn't be one of those things, we'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. Or, one of those type of things. So I feel like if we got this done before we got married, it'd be instrumental and it'd be kind of the foundation of, our family. And so far it's worked out.
Well, I have to tell you, Candice, this is having gone through getting married a year ago. To have both of those kinds of things going on at the same time, that's a lot of stress in the family. How'd you deal with it?
I guess it was one day at a time. Like I said, I didn't want us to do it, but I could see the vision and I saw it work for my family. So I knew that, it was a good decision to make, maybe not the best timing, but I'm so glad that we did. And when we came back, and it's crazy because when we came back from our wedding, the returns that we got from the single-family home that we purchased more than paid for our wedding. Because we ended up selling that single-family home a year later and pretty much had over 50% return.
Over 100%.
Oh, over 100%. I'm sorry.
Wow, that's great. That really is. So let's talk to Candice and, maybe Corey, I don't know which one of you would come up with this answer, but being that you're a three-generation real estate investor, what prompted you to want to look into education? I mean, most people that have, seen it done generation after generation are pretty much know-it-alls.
Right. Well, like I said, hearing some of the headaches that I know that my dad went through, at first, really, I was a little hesitant. I knew that there was value in it, and I knew that we needed to do it. But I kind of had in my mind that we would push this down the road. But Corey, like I said, he was really about us going ahead and jumping in and getting started as soon as possible.
Let me get it. I wanted a shortcut, and I didn't want to have all the headaches and waste a whole bunch of time and money trying to learn things the hard way. I wanted to find the shortcut, and the quickest way to get me to my destination is a straight line. I don't want to go through the ups, downs, sideways, crooked. And when I had a friend who told me about lifestyles and I heard about his success, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to waste any time.
It's a good thought process there, my man. I agree with the same thing. I don't want to waste all that time doing sideways on stuff. That's like, I give you a perfect example of being married in that kind of thought process. We'll get something in, and it needs to be built, and I grab the instructions, and my wife grabs a screwdriver. Just like she's going to put that thing together one way or another. And when we end up with extra parts or things, she comes to an impasse where things don't quite fit the way they should, then we go back and read the manual and take it apart and put it back together the right way. So I really agree with you on that one, Corey. I don't like to rush into things either. Now, you guys got about 800 plus units right now, split between passive investments and lead investments. So let's go back and let's touch base with my favorite question, and that is, you found us, your friend told you about us, you got in, and your first couple of impressions. Did you go to a free workshop? Did you go to a case study? Or did you go to the 2-day? What was your first impression?
The first impression was, this can't be real. Like, I don't believe it. This can't be real. So once we went to the introductory workshop, and, we went to a case study. And at the case study, we talked with some of the lead investors, and we also talked with some of the single-family investors, and they brought the dream to reality. They talked to it, and they walked us through it. And we felt like, hey, dude, this is real. This does work. So that was the point that really kind of got us, off the sidelines. Now, we did take a little bit more time afterwards, but talking to people is the benefit, and that's what got us off the sidelines.
So do you remember the 2-day? Did you go together?
Yes, we did go together, and we attended Dave's 2-day, and it just really blew our minds. And then especially when we got to the second day, when we got to the second day, we were just a bit intimidated by multifamily. We understood how it would work. But it just seemed so far away for us. So we did join in at the challenge level after the 2 days. But then we quickly, after going to case studies and going to other road trips, we quickly understood that it could be a reality for us just because we were able to interact with people who were actually doing it. So it became more real.
We basically followed that. We took baby steps. We started off at the introductory workshop. Then we moved to the financial freedom program. Then we moved to the challenge program. Then we ultimately went to the preferred program, and then we became lead. So we literally followed the map the entire way.
So at the time, you were a nurse, and Candice, what were you doing for a job before you guys got into real estate?
Right. So I worked for a digital marketing company, and I was in the business development division. So I worked with different companies to partner with my company that I was working for at the time to sell advertising to basically trade associations and their members.
Okay. So nothing really directly related to real estate. When you took the 2-day, guys, what was the aha moments? Do you remember, like, listening to something going, man, that's it. That's the secret. I didn't know that. That's what's going to make this all work.
I would say the compound effect. You start off with one house, and it's kind of like Monopoly. You start off with one house, you build up 4 houses, and you trade it in for a hotel, and that was kind of the model that we saw, how you can quickly build your wealth at one house at a time. And that was how we figured, like, okay, our initial goal was to buy a single-family house a year, and then quickly that turned into rolling into passive deals, 1 to 2 a year. Now we're leading.
All right, well, we're going to have to take a break, so that's probably a good place to take a break. We're going to have, in a moment here, we'll have Candice and Corey back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. With me today is Candice and Corey Muldrow, and they're out of the Dallas area, and currently they've got about 800-plus units. And they're split up, interestingly enough. They have one deal they're a lead in with 102 units, and then they're passive in 705 other deals, other units. And so they've got a mix of portfolio, as do most of Lifestyles members, kind of mix it up a little bit. So when we went to break, we were talking about the 2-day and their aha moments. When you first came in, guys, what was your experience with talking to people? You said you talked to a lot of people. Were you surprised how open people were about the information and or their personal information?
That was the most shocking part, Dale, is just how candid people were and how friendly people were and how warm everybody was. And, like, everybody was just extremely welcoming, which I've never experienced that before. Like, it was awesome. Like, you could ask anything, and people were really willing to just, explain everything to you. It was just awesome.
And the really important part, as well as the team, having all the people that would be on our team to be able to talk to them. So, like our insurance broker, our lender, the person that would be helping us with property management, because we use property management with our single family. Just having the whole team and being able to talk with those different folks that would be helping us along the way just really helped our confidence.
So as you got into this, you bought a single-family house. You wanted to get something you felt comfortable with under the belt. How long was it after the 2-day and after that first deal? You got married and had the honeymoon. Obviously, that was involved there. How long after that were you thinking about doing something different, or did you just stick with single family in the first couple deals?
So after we got back from Cabo, we got our first rent check in the mail, and we're like, okay, hey, this really does work. Let's do it again. So we got on the search and started looking for some more single family homes, but we started going to more of the case studies, and we were like, hey, now that we dabbled our foot in the water on single family, let's go ahead and take a look at multifamily. And we were encouraged to go ahead and make that jump and to move into the preferred membership. And once we did, we went to the road trips, and we were like, I think within 6 months we went ahead and we invested in a passive deal with an awesome lead investor.
Please share with people what it feels like to actually go to a real business and see it in operation, have the person that owns it tell you and answer your questions about all the private details. Is that impressive? Did it change the way you thought about the deal, like you could give you more confidence or not?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's hard to describe the benefit of that. It's just being able not only to see on paper what this lead investor is doing and how they're creating value with this asset, but to actually see the units, to actually see the upgrades in person, to actually see the people on site that are working every day to make sure, the property is running at its best. And then to hear from the lead investor, how they're putting everything together. It's just, there's no way that we could have done what we've done without having people involved every step of the way to help us just feel good about what we're doing and know that it's possible.
So your first multifamily attempt, did you do it as a pass or as a lead?
We started off our journey in multifamily as passive, And we figured, hey, we'll take we'll take a passenger seat on a plane. We'll talk with the pilot, which is the lead investor, but we're going to take that passenger seat role. That way we can kind of see what's going on and learn how they communicate, learn how they operate before we take on the lead road ourselves. That's kind of the way that we did it. We just took baby steps.
And what we did was we actually set up appointments, coffee dates with all of the lead investors at the time that we were invested with.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, but hey, you could do it virtually right now. But that was totally valuable because they took their time with us and answered all of our questions when we were thinking about becoming leads. So, getting feedback from each different lead that we had invested in really helped us, move forward as well to become leads.
How did you decide what type of deal you were going to buy up front? What was your initial plan on buying your first deal?
Our initial plan was to buy a deal that would cash flow from day one and would provide us an equity pop at the back end. So basically, we go in, we do some improvements, but not, take the entire roof off and take it down to the studs. But we wanted to find something that will be cash flowing day one. That way we can learn on it and not, fail.
So when you found the one you liked, let's see, that was your first deal, which I didn't see the number of units. How many units was the first deal?
The first deal was 18.
Okay, so we started with an 18 before we went to 102. So as an 18, was that a lead passive deal also?
It was.
Okay. What was it about that deal that struck you that you really liked it?
We loved the location. We loved that it was a townhome deal. We loved the sticks and the bricks. Like the core of the building was good. And we saw the direction. We had a vision of where we could take it through interior improvements and better marketing and curb appeal. Like just the little things that we saw from there is like, hey, we could really take this to the next level. So that's what we look for when we go to look at assets. It's like, hey, where is that currently? Does it have good bones, and where can we take it?
How about yourself, Candice? Did you? In fact, I should ask this as a group. Who's the artistic person in this group, and who's the numbers person in this group?
Well, Corey is definitely the numbers person. I'm learning to be more of a numbers person because we're self-managing, so that just comes with the territory. But naturally, I'm the more artistic person. So, I had fun with, the whole design, the rehab, working with our team on the rehab, the upgrades that we were going to do. But I think we really work well as a team, to do our best, to make our deal successful.
All right. So when you took it over, what kind of changes did you make to it that made the difference?
Biggest thing right off the top is curb appeal, landscaping, and then, what the family's like, having, the nice paint on the inside, good flooring, having nice new clean appliances, backsplash, making the kitchen pop and, the bathrooms pop. That's what really draws the attention and makes people say, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how long did you keep that property, and how much money did you make with it? And you've only got 30 seconds. Let's not answer that one. You don't have enough time to answer that one. I don't want to cut you off right when you get started. So how long did you own that property? That's a simple 10-second question.
We kept that one for
2 years.
About 2 years.
All right, great. When we come back, we'll discuss what you did with it and what the next step was from there. We'll be right back with Candice and Corey Muldrow and the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show here on Tell Del Tuesday. We've got Candice and Corey M out of Dallas talking about the first 18 units that they purchased. Now we're at the point where they're selling it. What kind of profit do we make on this, guys?
That deal, we hit our 3-year pro forma within the first year. And we figured, hey, dude, we might as well just go ahead and take advantage and move on to the next deal. So we got about a 50% return on that one, and then we actually sold that one while we were in the middle of buying our second deal, Belmont Place, as well as at the same time that same week we were selling 2 of our single family homes at the same time.
Yeah,
it was a crazy week.
But also back to the whole business plan for that property was more of a yield play. But we had created a lot of value, and we had been cash flowing since day one. So from year to year, it was about 8% on average cash flow. Mm-hmm. And then when we sold, our investors got 50% pops in value. In return.
So the internal rate of return was above 50% total if you add the cash flow back to the capital gains also then, right?
Yeah.
All right, great. What did you see in the second one? The second one was the 102 unit that you have now?
Yeah.
Tell us about that one. What did you see in that one that made the one you wanted to go big with? I mean, you went from 16, 18 units, whatever the small one was, up to this 102 units. That's quite a leap. That's 10 times, you know. What made you do that?
Yeah, well, we learned a lot from our first property, the 18 units, that we did want to have a property big enough where we could afford a team on site to handle the day-to-day. So we knew we wanted to go, a lot bigger. But this particular property had a lot of intrinsic value just because there was an elementary school right across the street. It's in a great rental market in Arlington, Texas. Huge unit size. It had some of it does have the largest unit sizes in the area, average 1,100 square feet. So there were just a lot of great things, beautiful community, felt like a neighborhood. So we went for it.
Now, what did you like about the large square footage? Because that's a controversial conversation right there.
It is, yeah.
So we like them because they're great for families. And with it being right across the street from an elementary school, like the demand for, large floor plans are huge. So that was something that we really liked. And with larger floor plans, it kind of distinguishes yourself from the market because you can kind of set your own ceiling, because if your floor plans are bigger than everyone else's, it's kind of hard to do a comparison. It's like, well, look what I get over here versus everyone else has the same old, square pod. So that gives us an advantage, we think.
All right. And so when you bought the property and took your partners with you, did you have a renovation plan?
We did. We went in and we took the classic units up to our premium level, which in some cases brought us over $100 in rent increases. We figured out a way to convert some of the large floor plans. Like our largest floor plan is 1,489 square feet. Well, that's a lot of space for a 2-bedroom apartment. So we figured out a way to make a 3rd bedroom, and that jumped our rents even higher. Wow,
that's interesting. That's a good move. So did you actually move some walls, or what did you do to turn a 2-bedroom into a 3-bedroom? Take the dining room, turn what change did you make?
So in the 70s, they had like a sunroom. So basically, what we did was we closed off. We added one wall and a closet in. There you go. That was basically all we needed because it had 2.5 bathrooms, so it worked out just fine.
Excellent. What other kinds of changes did you make with this property?
We added some more curb appeal. We added some landscaping. We improved the marketing, and that was what really made this property pop. Like we took over, the property was hovering around 92%. But since we took over ownership, we boosted the value of the property by increasing the income of the property, and I don't know if we want to go too far into that, but, since we've taken over management ourselves, we've been able to increase the value almost $2 million.
And we took over management February of this year. So that's
quite a gain, huh? That's quite a gain. So how much did you pay for each per door? Do you know a per door price you paid for this?
This property, this might give you a little bit of sticker shock, but this one was $112 per door. But what you got to figure is these are larger units. So if your unit is about 30% larger than the average unit size, then you're going to pay a little bit more per unit.
Right. There's no doubt. Like I said, the size, large size, small size argument goes on forever. It's an endless circle of entertainment to hear both sides of that argument, I guarantee you, because I've heard it for 30 years. And it makes a difference in the way you have to play the game, because if you're the big guy, you got a lot higher costs. It costs you more to get in. You got more property tax. You got more carpet. You got more paint. Everything costs more to deal with a bigger unit. So you're going to have to be able to translate that into more rent, like you said you did. And if you can pull that off, then that's good. Let's talk about being a lead investor. What were the challenges and or the educational process you went through to become a lead investor?
I would say the most important part was following the map that Lifestyles has put together. You guys' education program is above anything. It's like doctorate level education, and it's like drinking from a hose pipe. So if you have the time and you have the commitment to learning, you can do it. And we sat down. We would make date nights of learning all the information. Other than that, there's tons of events and programs that you guys host, road trips, case studies, webinars. So we attend all those, and every time we take away a little nugget. And other than that, it's boots on the ground experience.
Well, I have to say you guys were meant for each other if you turn date nights into work nights together.
Yes.
Yes.
Spend our weekends going through content, educational content.
Well, that's good. That's absolutely good. So you've got this education, this information. I assume you got certified as a lead. I'm assuming that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what about raising capital? How did you guys find this? Seems like you came right out of the blocks as a lead fairly quickly. How did you finding and attracting capital to your deals?
A lot of case studies, a lot of meetings, a lot of events, going to the Lifestyles Unlimited conference in Houston. It's just a lot of boots on the ground. It takes work. It takes, being seen. So that has been a part of our lifestyle, just interacting with people, and it not only is it good for just marketing ourselves, but it's just good to get that feedback from other people to just make us better, just as leads.
So as you go into this thing now, and you sold the other one, the smaller property, you got the larger property. When did you start buying passive deals?
Oh, we kind of did those at the same time. So we didn't become leads until 2017. So we did probably about a year and a half worth of passive investing, and that's how we really learned from the pros, so to speak.
How many different deals is that adds up to the 705 units?
Okay, so as of right now, we're invested in about 9 deals, and actually we got to make a correction. I think we currently have 1,200 units passively. So what we did was we invested. We bought our first single family. We invested passively. Then we bought another single family, and we invested passively. Like we just kind of went about it that way. And I think the single families really kind of helped us to learn a lot more about rehab before we really kind of took that on ourselves. And investing passively allowed us to go and dive into the books and work with the lead investors and have them kind of, give us little pointers here and there before we decided to take on the role ourselves.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you guys really got in there, dug in, and took to it. It must have been something you both enjoyed to move that quickly. When we come back from break here, in fact, still got about a minute left, so I can go ahead and ask you this. Since it's very impolite to ask a lady how old she is, well, you got out for the break. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Del Walmsley on Having a Plan.
The year I got cancer and could not work for 8 months, I lost 50 pounds. I want to tell you that I made $4 million that year. I made more that year than any year I'd ever made previous to that in my life. And I'm not telling you that to impress you. I'm telling you that to impress upon you. I didn't go to work for 8 months. That's a plan.
Create your plan at Lifestyles Unlimited's live online free workshop. Register at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Walmsley Radio Show. With me here today on Tell Del is Candice and Corey Muldrow out of the Dallas area. They currently have one property that they're lead investors in, which is 102 units, and then another 1,200 units that they're passive investors in with other lead investors. And as we went to break, we were getting ready to step into the discussion of the fact that these folks sound very young, did this right out of the blocks from their marriage, so it gave them a great head start. And I was, like I said, it's Corey, it's really impolite to ask a woman how old she is, so how old are you? And you know, where are we at in this as far as the two of you? Which one are you still both working? One of you working? One of you, I think Candice is now retired. Tell us how that all came about and how you decided that you could retire so early in life.
So I would say, in answer to your question, I got poked in the side earlier, so I'm just going to say we're in our mid-30s. And then we'll say from there is, we decided to retire Candice so that we can take best care of our asset, because no one will take care of your property like you will. And she officially retired from corporate America last December. Oh, I'll let her discuss that.
Yeah. So my last day was December of last year, and it's been great. I'm so happy that we've taken over management, especially during this crazy time through a pandemic. It couldn't have been better timing for us to have control of our property right now. So, we worked together to get here. We saved a lot. I was making 6 figures before I left my job. Corey was doing it even better because he's in the anesthesia field. So we both were able to get our salaries at a good point, but we didn't spend money on a big house. We still live in a smaller home. We didn't spend a lot of big money on expensive cars, even though we were making great money. But what we did is we saved. So we had this goal together that this is where we want to get to. We have lifestyles to help us get there. So let's just save our money and invest. And that's what we did.
Wow, that's impressive, very impressive. So I'm going to go with you right now, Candice, to get a little background information, because I think you have 2 interesting stories I'd like to ask. When you left your job in your quote-unquote mid-30s,
Very good.
the people that you work with had to have been freaked out if you told them you were just retiring and going to go work for yourself.
Right. And really, Del, I didn't really talk about it very much just because I knew it was so shocking. I didn't really talk about it. I kind of kept it close, during that entire time. And then, I had a really good relationship with the people that I worked with, especially the CEO of the company. He was my mentor. And I told him what we were doing, and he was just like shocked but so happy for us. So even our friends, I think it's a little hard to digest, to really understand. But it is a reality. And, it's wild to us that we're in this place, but we just followed what we were told, from the 2-day seminar about how we could find money that we didn't think that we had, like money that, Corey had in his 401k and pension from when he was working at Parkland, and the money that we could refinance out of our house towards it, and, all of our savings. So it was there. And I think a lot of people would be surprised what they actually have to invest as well.
There's no doubt that's true for many, many people. I just think it's interesting that you've carried this on now and gotten this far along at such a young age, because I retired at 34 years of age, and I call retirement when I replace my earned income with passive income. So that's my definition of retirement. Let's talk now with Corey for a second. Corey, I wasn't finished with Candice. I was like, Candice, what about your family? I want to hear about your family. Now you're the third generation real estate investor. What does your parents and other people in your family think about all this?
Oh, they're just very proud. Like my parents, they're so proud. It's a little mind blowing for them too, but they encourage us, and it's just really great to think of the memory of my grandfather, who didn't come from very much at all, but made his own opportunity, even despite, challenges that he had. And then for us, and I saw how my grandparents, they didn't spend money on crazy things. They stayed in the same house for, all of their lives, and saved and were able to have something, to pass on a little bit. It feels good to be able to be in this place and to carry on and just take it several steps up and forward.
Do they have any idea you have 1,300 units?
No.
I don't think they could even comprehend that, right? That's just too much. All right, last question here. Are we creating a fourth generation of little real estate investors?
We're working on it, Dell.
All right, I need my next core group being produced here very soon. It's got to go on and on and on, keep going. So, all right, that's great. How about let's go to Corey's side. Friends or family? Anybody freaked out by this, Corey, or what do you have as far as the people you know?
Keep it close to the chest. I don't know. I think it does blow our friends' minds a little bit, and we're starting to pull more and more friends over into the dark side of lifestyle so that they can partake too. Yeah. But it's unreal. Sometimes we still wake up and don't even, we have to pinch ourselves because it's almost like it's not real.
I got you. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this great story, and I look forward to you continuing to grow, and maybe someday, Corey, you get out of your job too, so that you both can just start taking some vacation time and start creating a little baby generation if you get a little time. The rest of the world out there, remember this, we're not doing this for just some money. We're doing it for a lifestyle. Have a wonderful day.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley radio show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Del Walmsley show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.